That's fine.
What are all those medals?
I'll never tell. At least not while the sun's shining.
Hey, crotch rot. I'm gonna slurp my lifer's juice out of my own cup.
Yeah, I guess I should have gotten shots beforehand.
Morning. Happy Monday. What a weekend. What a weekend. So, how are you guys doing?
I'm doing good.
Is Martine not going to be here today?
I have no idea.
Wow. Hope he's
Maybe give him a
okay.
call?
I know he got the coof this weekend.
Oh, that's
But-
not
Oh,
nice.
fuck.
He had built up enough immunity, I guess, that he recovered very quickly because he had already had it.
That's good.
So he went through it really quick, and so he told me yesterday that he was feeling a lot better, 100% better, and I'm like, that's great. So I don't know. I'll check see if he's okay while we're going into the show. But it's Military Monday. We had another weekend. I can't even remember what happened this weekend. Anything good happened this weekend? Did we do anything this weekend that was fun? Anybody?
You had a good show on Saturday.
We did a show Saturday. What was on that show?
John
don't
Wick,
remember.
you idiot.
Yeah.
John Wick.
That's because
Yeah,
you're not.
that was
That's
fun.
because you're not sleeping. Not sleeping fucks with your brain.
That's true. I've been.
That's an
Andy
experience.
is here. Andy, and Glenn Fleming, two limey friends of mine, messaged me a lot, and I was talking to Glenn Fleming last night, and I talked to Andy. Well, kind of. He's just sending images to me. I either click like on it because it's a good picture, says something nice, or it's funny, and I ha 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 face because it is funny. I think my favorite so far was when he sent an image of Joe Biden being carried off the Air Force One by one of those balloons just in the air. So thanks, Andy. That stuff cheers me up. You Parrot Head, and Monkey Jeebus are the three who constantly send me messages with images and shit that crack me up. I appreciate it, man. Alex, who else here today? We've got Penny. Penny's
Yeah,
first in the house.
I'm doing the list. I'm doing the list as we speak.
Okay, good. Andy Morrow, Alex Moore, Joe's Atmosphere. Joe, you're welcome to join us if you can jump in. We're going to be talking about Full Metal Jacket. Originally, Full Metal Jacket was based on a novel called Short Timers. And Short Timers was written by I just forget his name. Gustav Hasford. He's a gentleman who served with Dale Dye. Dale Dye, my boss, is in the book. When you read the character, and he's actually credited in the film, but you only see him in the background, is Daddy D.A. And Daddy D.A. in real life was Dale Dye. And he was a member of that group, those military correspondents for the U.S. Marine Corps. And he and Hasford were friends. There are photos of them together, and it's depressing. Hasford in the 90s had developed. He may have developed it in the late 80s, but he had diabetes, and he moved to Greece. And in the 80s and 90s, medical care in Europe was not the best. And his diabetes was left untreated, and it killed him eventually. He died in Greece as an expatriate. We have an expatriate in this room.
Yep.
Anima is an expatriate of Vienna, and she lives in
I am.
Croatia. And some people choose to live that way. And good morning, D Bud Martin, Scribe Light, and of course, I was just talking about Monkey Jeebus. There's Monkey Jeebus. Good morning.
And
Dragon Ruse. Let's see
we have
who
a
else is
breach.
already. Man, I just woke up.
He did it twice.
Man, nothing worse than getting breached right when you wake up.
Where's the other one?
Yeah. It was. I like the John Wick show. I almost wish we could do more of those. I like talking about John Wick. Oh, there he is. There's Joe.
Hi, Joe.
What's up, fellers? And
Fellers.
fellers and lady.
I got
I'm
to tell
not a
you,
lady.
when
Don't you insult
when
me.
I am like German, the language of German language, I am very gentle when it's a mixed crowd. So when I say guys, I mean gals too.
Yeah, I
I've
use it to say.
since I was a kid, that's always done that, and people go, "Don't call me guys." I'm like going, "Are you really going to get that upset over that? Really?
Really? You
Mm.
gonna go there?
Is that the hill to die on? Is
right?
it?
Is that the
No.
one?
So, I've always referred to you guys. So-
Let's see, which side are they on? It's that one. That chick right there doesn't mind being called one of the guys.
Well, it looks like she served Army.
Yes, sir. Both of them did. That one just left me. He went back home to Maryland on Saturday.
What part of Maryland?
Oh God, I want to say it's the central to western part of the state. I can't remember the name of the town, dude. He's in rural Maryland.
Rural. There's that word.
Rural.
Such a
Rural.
weird
Rural.
word.
It sounds like you're
Rented
drunk when you
lips.
say rural.
Got rented lips.
Yeah, I know. Like, yeah, Robin Williams. Sorry,
Yes.
rented lips.
Mm-hmm.
Hurts rent a lip.
I figured I'd sit here from now on whenever I do this show.
Well, it's a good spot. It's a
Yeah.
good spot. I even designed my own background to look
I
like
saw
that.
that. That was very cool. I'm glad I was able to inspire you. Yes.
I love it because I have a lot of family who served.
Oh yeah,
and-
dude. This wall is not complete. My uncles and aunts aren't on here, and I just got it started a couple of years ago. So I got to collect some pictures, get them framed, and that kind of stuff. My mom tried to help me out, but she said, she's proud of her family. She sends me stuff that was like 11, poster sized of all of them. I'm like, Mom, I don't have that much space on the wall. I need 8x10s. Come on. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how is everybody doing this morning? How are you doing, Joe?
I'm doing fantastic, man. Like I said, my youngest daughter, Amanda, and David here just left. They were here for a week. And we put a pergola together in the backyard. You step out my backyard now, we got this nice 13 by 13 or 12 by 12, something like that.
A percolate? What is that?
A pergola. It's kind of like a gazebo kind of thing. It's square. It's a tin roof. It's got a gap in the top.
Tin roof.
It's
Rusted.
Rusted.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. But yeah,
Vietnam!
putting it together and hanging out, for a week. That's why I wasn't streaming a lot last week. I canceled 2 shows. I had them for a week. No
Well,
kids.
When
no
I heard you weren't going to be
spouses.
streaming much, I just figured you're having some prostate issues.
Negative.
Oh,
Not
God,
yet.
Gerry.
Thank God. Knock on some wood. Damn it.
That's it.
You know what?
You have
I
a
got to tell you,
co-host.
when I was in the Army, I remember one of the worst things during basic training was when we were out doing FTX. And they had these old latrines, these old, terrible, built during World War I or World War II, right in the middle, maybe. Because they were old. I would say like in the late 20s, early 30s, back when it was Camp Leonard Wood. And oh my God, it was like death when you walked in that door, and everybody was coming out like,
Right.
dry heaves.
Yeah.
And I'm like, the first thing I did when I saw that was, oh, and you could smell it in the air. That
Ooh.
hot, humid, breezeless Missouri air of July 1990. And as it begins to waft out with a wall of heat, and I was like, whoa, that's bad. And nobody else thought of this. And I'm like, really? You didn't think of doing this? I reached in, I grabbed my pro mask.
Yeah.
And I put it on. And everybody was like, hey, do what Kissel's doing.
Right.
So everybody after me
He's a
started going
freaking
into the
genius.
bathroom.
Yeah.
And it is like, you saw the latrine in this movie. You'll see it. There was no privacy in there. You are sitting right next to and looking straight across at
Toilet
another
next
person.
to toilet.
Yep.
No, they're
By the way,
holes.
I meant to ask
They're
you
not
that,
toilets.
Gerry.
These are
They're
holes.
holes.
These are benches that go down into a pit.
Why did they call it the head in the movie?
Well, the head is really from the Navy.
That I was fixing to say that's a Navy term. That's what they call
Latrine
it.
it can be referred to as Marine Corps too, but
That's how I know it.
it's the French word, and that came from World War I. But the head specifically speaks about where the bathroom was on the ship. It was near the head of the ship.
Mm-hmm.
So they just call it the head. Now they're all over the place, in fact, a lot of quarters have their own private bathrooms on ships. So it's different. But they still call it the head because of history. But one of the many things you learn growing up with a father that beat military history into you. So I am going to do this real quick because this show is brought to you by Wake and Wake Up by Fuel Up by Wake. Yeah, I've only had 2 hours sleep, so please forgive me if I stumble
It's
over
not good
words
for you,
today.
buddy. It's not good for you.
I had a lot of work to do, and I got so excited. It's not stress this time. I get so excited when things go really well that I end up staying up later than I should, and then panic mode sets in. And panic mode says, "Hey, guess what? You're it's too close to going to sleep or getting up time, so I'm going to give you some trouble getting to sleep."
Yeah.
And it's your brain talking to you. It's really what's happening. And I got very angry at myself last night, and I'm like, why can't you sleep? What is wrong with you? And it says, I can't help it. I'm excited because I wrote. I've told a couple of people, and 2 people have read it so far. I've been waiting because I'd had trouble with my book, Vindicated Inc. I wasn't happy with a couple of things with it. And I suddenly felt inspired over the weekend. Something came to me, a remembrance, and I went, that's what I want. And I wrote a whole new opening to Vindicated Inc. It's a non sequitur opening, meaning that it seems disjointed or doesn't connect, but it is connected.
It
and
did
you
confuse
find
me.
out. Yeah, she's one of the 2 people who've read it. Okay. And the other person is my good friend, comic connoisseur Glenn Fleming over in England. He got to read it, and he was like, "Oh my God, this is good. I really liked what you did here." He says, and he says, "You don't really need dialogue for this. The way you wrote it, this is a visual story, and it's horrifying what you show."
It gets so dark, yeah.
And because you begin to you see this character, and the whole thing is inspired by one of my favorite films from 1975. And it is one of the best espionage films ever written for film.
I got to
as
see
a
the
film.
beginning.
The original story was called 6 Days of the Condor. And became 3 Days of the Condor. And I showed Anima the opening scene at the
You have the devil, Gerry.
it's a book reading house is what it is, but it's actually a front for the CIA.
Oh wow.
And
they like to get in the arts, don't they?
Well, they do, and the reason why is because and they bring it up in the film. He says, I find it weird, and they're trying to figure out how information is being sent through this book and through code, because he points out It was published in Afghanistan and all these different countries, but not like Austria per se. It was another country. Sweden, I think, is one of them. And he points out, and that's really odd that it wasn't translated into these different languages, but only these languages. Mm-hmm. So therefore, that's a red light to look for something. And so they go into these books, and it's true that they still do that to this day. NSA too. NSA does it as well. But anyway, one of the books that we're talking about is actually a movie called The Short Timers by Gustav Hasford. This is an updated version of the book, and the original cover that I read, my dad and I, when I say we, I mean my dad and I, had a team of guys on the front of the book that I think wasn't a very good representation of what's in the book. It looks like it's straight up jungle warfare, and it's not. There's no jungle warfare in the book. It's not Platoon. And the film does a fairly good job of adapting some of it. But the one thing I want to point out, and you're going to see the slideshow here in a sec, there was no killing of a drill instructor in the history of the U.S. Marine Corps. Didn't happen in the Army either.
No.
Although there are plenty of recruits during Vietnam in particular. Vietnam! The Nam. I do that Vietnam thing because of Don Shipley. He, at one of his shows, there's this guy, and they're just hilarious. They called him what did he call him? The general or something like that? It was really funny. He's not even ranked. And he just keeps doing it to some guy on the phone that they're messing with. Yeah.
I got Michael Golden to sign my
Michael Golden?
number one.
Nice.
Yeah, last year.
Nice. Double nice. Put that back up. So I want to say good morning. Of course, Bill is here in the background. He's producing the show. Good morning, Bill. Hope everybody's doing well. Everybody got in panic because I was like running behind. And it's not that I was running behind. It's just I woke up late. But I got 2 hours of sleep, so I feel pretty good. I got to be honest, I don't feel bad at all.
Something to be said for going to sleep on a schedule. Something to be said for that.
Yes, I concur. And so I'm pouring out my drink now.
I wish I knew what that's like.
Yeah, it's good for you. It just is. It's good for your mental capacity, everything. You know, it's one less thing you're thinking about.
Yeah. And part of my problem, I don't know about you guys, my insomnia comes from I can't shut my brain down sometimes. My brain wants to keep working. I always joke
just a night owl.
Yeah, it's like there's nothing worse than having something out of your past come up right when you're about to fall asleep, and then you're like,
damn it, son.
It's like, oh my God, you son of a bitch. Why am I feeling guilt over something that's 40 years in the past? But, that's when it pops up, is when your brain's supposed to be relaxing. So, but anyway, today we're going to be talking about Full Metal Jacket, and I gave you a little history already of Gustav. Gustav, along with Dale Dye and the team, were combat correspondents for Marine Corps. And a lot of them knew each other. Dale has appeared in the book Short Timers. He also is in, I just forgot, Michael Hare's book, Dispatches. Dale is prominently mentioned in that book. And he was really one of those guys that was all over the place in Vietnam and knew a lot of guys. And so he is in Short Timers, and Short Timers is a fictionalized account of what these guys went through in Vietnam. And there's a lot of stuff that was, and Dale, that's where Dale got the inspiration when he worked with Oliver Stone to do Platoon. That even though Stone is the writer of the film, the fact is Dale influenced how it was written. And that's why he wrote the novelization of, there's Don. Somebody wants to send Don an invite. You should jump in here with us, man. As an actual veteran of Vietnam.
I I'm not friends with him on Facebook.
He's in the group.
Oh.
He's
Hey,
in
why
the
don't I
wrecking
put it in the
crew.
group?
Yeah, he's in the wrecking crew. So, but Hasford wanted to write about their experiences, so he took a series of events and combined them into the story. And this is the same thing Dale did with Platoon, working with Oliver Stone. And if you've never read the novelization of Platoon, I think it's more straightforward telling of the story. It has less of the politics. And I thought it was interesting that Adam Baldwin, who plays Animal Mother in the film, said on Facebook, I don't think even 2 months ago, and he said that that this movie is more pro-soldier than Platoon. That even though Platoon was, military supervised by Dale Dye, and he did his best to keep Oliver Stone from disrespecting veterans, Vietnam War veterans, that Kubrick, for some reason, did a better job of saluting soldiers, and that the movie Full Metal Jacket is more pro-soldier than Platoon is. And I kind of agree.
I do too. Yeah.
And what, because Dale and Julia know I don't like Oliver Stone. They know I call him a commie.
He is a commie.
And I despise him for saying the last line, writing those last words. We flew 1,000 miles to face the enemy, and the enemy was us. I'm like, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
I am surrounded by Vietnam War vets. And at that time in particular in my life, none of them felt that way.
No.
That was such a bullshit thing to say. And it's so dismissive of the American veteran serving in Vietnam. The heroes of his book are stoners. Yeah. The beer guzzler country boys are the bad guys.
Are the bad guys, yeah.
He's a prick. I cannot stand that motherfucker.
Yeah, there's a whole, I guess the rumor was it was a biopic, and I'm like, no, he put every trope that we've ever heard of.
No, well, that's something that Oliver Stone.
So.
Well, Oliver Stone. Dale helped influence that, and I think that's really one of the better aspects. Is once again, it's a collection of stories,
right, mm-hmm.
that happened over a period of time. They combined into a 2-hour movie.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, when he penned his adaptation of my script, City of Fire, back in 2007, and my script was a straight across the board telling of what happened in a single day in a battle.
Now,
but there was
let me ask one question just to make sure I know. I'm pretty sure I've figured this out from listening to you, but Dale Dye's the guy that has the line in Platoon, "It's a lovely fucking war," right?
What a lovely fucking war.
Yeah.
Best line in the movie.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Dale's true blue Marine Corps, tough guy.
Obviously, he's a sweetheart. You can't gush about him enough. So, yeah.
Oh, I admire him.
Mm-hmm.
I admire him. Yep. And he's done his best in Hollywood to try to Oh, there's Glenn. Yep. I was talking about you a little bit ago, Glenn. Keto's here. Let's see who else jumped in. Of course.
It seems like every time I see him in one of those pieces of entertainment that it's a little more credible. I don't think he attaches his name to stuff that doesn't have some credibility to it. So.
No, he is his work in war films, mm-hmm. is the only saving grace for a lot of those films.
Right.
If it weren't for Dale Dye, I would have never watched Casualties of War.
Really? Yeah. De Palma's another one that's...
De Palma's a very anti-soldier, anti-America guy.
Mm-hmm.
Now, true, every nerd owes him for making the changes to Star Wars that he pushed for, including the opening scroll.
Mm-hmm.
But past that, he's a piece of shit commie and can't stand the guy. His anti-war films are disgusting and an embarrassment. He tried to do it with the war in the Middle East, and he did his little film Redacted. And I was
Which
glad.
I still have never watched. When I heard
its box office is terrible.
Thanks.
Nobody wanted to see it.
Yeah.
You know,
It's
the only thing hated more than that film by the American audience was Lions for Lambs.
Good morning, all.
Hey, John, how you doing?
Good to see you, man.
How you doing?
How am I doing? I'll tell you. We had a lot of rain this weekend, and guess
it doesn't
what?
rain in California.
Yeah, well, it did this weekend. And right here at my dining room table, suddenly water started to appear down
What?
from my roof.
Oh, fuck.
That ain't
That
no
sucks.
good.
I had that.
That's no good.
And the good news is you couldn't blame Bailey for it.
No, I couldn't.
Because Bailey
No, I
chewed the
couldn't.
shit out of one of his DVDs, man.
Oh man.
Oh, boy. That dog.
Bailey wants her attention. If she doesn't, Bailey doesn't get his attention, things
She's
are going to
a
get
demanding
destroyed.
woman.
She's a toddler.
She runs on cat software. That's what it is.
She's a
She's dog
female
running on
and a
cat
toddler.
software.
The thing I love about dogs never get past the age of 4 for a human. They're like, permanent toddler stage kids.
Yep, they are.
And I mean, they can be so sharp and know what's going on, but in the end, they're still just a toddler getting into shit.
Yep.
Hey, I got a question to ask all you guys.
Yeah, man.
And Joe,
Go.
you especially, because you're a non-vet. I guess
No,
it
I am
was-
not a non-vet. I am not.
Oh, you're not?
80s for me. The Cold War, sir. Yes.
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
okay. I stand corrected.
No
Well,
problem.
anyway, my cousin was in the Marine Corps. Went in after he graduated in '66. Of course, he immediately got sucked into the dam. And he came back in '68, had been banged up a little bit, had gotten some shrapnel in the legs, and we were real tight then. And I left in '69. I did my thing. He had moved out to Colorado, and then he convinced me in the '70s to go out there. So I did. Well, we were hanging out one Saturday, and there was a brand new movie that had come out that was getting a lot of press called The Deer Hunter.
Oh, good flick.
I don't like that film.
Well, let me finish. So we were both non-vets, and we said, "Oh shit, let's go check it out." Now it had Jane Fonda in it, and we loathed that bitch.
Hanoi Jane.
Long time.
The Deer Hunter?
hated
We
her.
hate you long time.
Yes, very long time. Oh, what's this shit?
So
Your phone again, Don. That's the
Yes,
tension. You know
that
that.
goddamn phone. Not,
Jane
another
Fonda was
dumb
in.
call.
Jane
We
Fonda
went
was
to
in that
see
movie?
the movie, and I got to say that there were some scenes that had me on the edge of my seat. But the whole thing, Christopher Walken, being a non-vet and airborne, by the way, he was supposedly airborne.
U.S. Army Airborne. No, I've seen
Yep.
the picture. He has his pass.
got captured.
Wow.
And they forced him, and it was a powerful scene. They forced him to play Russian roulette. Now you remember all that, right?
Yeah, that was
Absolutely.
part of
I've
my
seen that
beef
movie
with it
several
is because
times,
that was
yes.
never done. But yeah,
Now, wait a minute. Did I say Fonda was in that?
You
I'm
did.
wrong.
You
You meant
did.
Meryl Streep.
Meryl Streep,
Streep,
yeah, but
yeah.
Fonda was in that other one.
Coming
at
Home.
the-
with,
Coming Home.
Bruce Dern. Yeah.
Yeah.
And John Voight. Yeah.
But that movie, The Deer Hunter, it really, now nothing like that is in the records. It never, ever happened.
No.
Okay. But that brought out a tremendous amount of emotion in me and in my cousin too. And you guys had seen, Gary, I wanted to get your take on that movie, what you thought about it, because
There were so many in there that I did like, but I felt it was, it's a slow burn film, first of all.
Yes.
But when it comes to historical stuff, I'm really funny because of my dad and because of growing up as a fanatic about military history. When you see something being done in a film that wasn't done, that was one of my beasts with Gustav Hasford's book and in the movie Full Metal Jacket, that never in the history of the Marine Corps or the U.S. Army was a drill instructor shot or killed by a recruit. They've been attacked, but the only people who could have been killed are the recruits, because a lot of them disappeared during the Vietnam War. And I don't believe all of them went AWOL, especially at Paris Island.
I get why they wrote it into the
for
movie though, because
for what it's worth,
it had such a dark side to it.
I did my basic training at Fort Dix. Okay.
New Jersey.
Fort Dixieland. Yep, that's what we called it.
And Dix at that time was a debarking station for a lot of guys coming back.
Well, yeah, it's up in New Jersey.
Right. And there was and they suppressed it, but there was a story, and I was still there when it happened, that one of those guys that came back grabbed himself an M16 rifle, went out on the rifle range, and started sniping at guys inside the camp.
I've read about that. Yeah.
Okay.
Lost his shit, man.
Yeah, lost his crap big time. Went nuts, and it was my understanding that they smoked his ass. But they kept it hushed up. So, there was a lot of craziness there at the time.
Well, the whole world was changing back then.
You mean like now?
Yeah, like it is now. Well, I've said it several times, and I think Gary's agreed with me. Everything goes in cycles, and it just repeats itself.
Well,
because we don't learn from our history. We never do. And
we should. And
we should,
some people do, but the problem is too many people don't. But we have hit the half-hour mark, and we need to start moving into watching the little film strip, the little thing here. So
slideshow.
I'm going to take down our branding. Boom. There we go. And can you go full screen on that?
Yeah, that's what I'm about to do.
Outstanding. And but Michael Cimino's Deer Hunter is one of those films that I've seen it, I think 3 times in my life, and I don't think I ever want to see it again.
Yeah, it's not one you watch every day. It's kind of like The Passion.
Well, it's a downer of a
movie,
film,
but it's a downer.
It's a downer.
It's a downer of a movie.
Because when this movie's 45 years old, 46 years old. It's a downer of an ending. You can pause it.
Yeah, it is.
It's a downer of an ending because De Niro's character, De Niro's a guy who never served, and he plays special forces, right? Don, he's Green Beret.
Yeah.
And he returns to Vietnam to try to bring his buddy who never left. He was a POW and never came back. Even when he got out of the POW camp, he still stayed there playing in the Russian roulette scene. And I'm like, that's unbelievable to me because the odds are against you surviving that.
Surviving that long? I mean, good.
But, there it is. So he's over there and he has that moment. And it is very dramatic when it happens. I'll admit it. That he looks at him and he smiles and he pulls the trigger and dies right there on camera.
Mm-hmm.
And the squib in the headband. And I don't know why years later, I'm like, that was very clever using a headband, establishing that to hide that squib later.
Right.
Because
they did it. Yeah. He wore the headband in the POW camp too. And that's, yeah. Mm-hmm.
But another problem I have with that is something that Don and I've talked about before is how it shows the dysfunction of Vietnam War vets rather than showing how functional they are. My brother left the Marine Corps and became a very successful man of business. and he served in the Marine Corps, and he saw combat, and he saw some crazy shit in Vietnam.
Yeah.
And he came back home, and he didn't lose his mind.
Yeah.
You know, and he worked for a company. I hate saying the name, but I'm going to say it. He worked for Halliburton.
Mm-hmm.
He worked for the branch down near Lake. Oh my God, the lake in the updated version of Piranha, Lake Havasu. Lake Havasu.
Okay.
He worked at Halliburton there. Almost got me a job there.
Before we move off of Deer Hunter, I will say the best thing about that movie is the building of the camaraderie and the opening of the movie over the deer hunt before the wedding, you know, and all that stuff. That's the good side of it, and
yeah,
that builds why De Niro goes back for him.
Well, I'll tell you,
when try and get him. So
when my cousin and I saw that flick, we had to laugh because we were both obviously from Pennsylvania. We were both deer hunters, and those damn deer were no way Pennsylvania whitetails. And, you know, or the mountains, or the mountains.
The hunt in Pennsylvania would know. That's for sure. Yeah.
There's one more film I want to mention before we watch this that is important to note, because before this became a movie, and in between Apocalypse Now and Michael Cimino's The Deer Hunter, there's another little film, and it's important in the fact that it introduced the movie audience to R. Lee Ermey. It was his first film before he. This is the movie that got him.
Vietnam movie. Yep.
It's the movie that got him the money to fix his teeth, because his teeth are all fucked up. They're
jacked up in that movie.
They are jacked up in that movie. A lot of tobacco stains in his teeth at that time, which was a career killer.
Yep.
The Boys in Company C, and it's actually, I really do like this film. I really do. It's the first film to try to show more of the combat side of what Vietnam was about. And Apocalypse Now is really just a straight across the board adaptation of Heart of Darkness. And it's a really good telling, and I'm looking forward to, we will be doing that on the show too. I'm going to do each one of these films.
Yeah.
You know,
can I say something before you get off?
No, you're not allowed to, Joe. No, no, go ahead, dude.
All right. The scene where all four of the fuck ups have been thrown in the hoosegow for different reasons, and Washington comes in to bitch at him about the 4 replacements. I see this guy, and every time I see that scene, especially when he says that line, you know, I got one hell of a shitty goddamn job here, Washington. I have to take 40 buckets of civilian shit and turn them into combat-ready Marines in 8 weeks, you know?
Yeah.
And
well, I got to tell you something about you, because your dad, you know, who your dad was. My drill instructors, I became very friendly with them in the after hours. And they said, this shit just doesn't even faze you, does it? When they were talking to me. And I said, you guys are nothing compared to my dad.
Right.
I'm like, I came in here, I was not afraid of you guys. I was actually really excited to meet you guys.
Right.
And curious where this is going to go. And then I realized, oh my God, this is nothing like being raised by my father.
Right. Yeah, a lot of people don't know
he'd
what
beat the shit out of me if I screwed up.
Yeah, a lot of them don't know what they're getting into. People with fathers like ours, we understand it. Absolutely.
Oh, look, Glenn Fleming says, it's a film, chill. No, Glenn, I'm not going to.
Yeah.
Don't tell me what to do.
We like movies, man. We get excited about them.
And by the way, he says Deer Hunter needed that first hour to establish it. And it does. The wedding scene is the one it's actually my favorite scene is the wedding.
Yep.
And all the events that follow right immediately after it. I just love that whole thing. And I grew up on the East Coast in Virginia from the age 8 on. Before that, mostly Phoenix. And then I was thrust into East Coast life growing up in Virginia, which is both Eastern and a Southern state.
Yeah.
And so surrounded by warfare, because a lot of the battles of the Revolutionary War were fought there, and a lot of them many decisive battles were fought right around where I grew up in the Civil War.
Well, by the way, that wedding scene was real because I've been to weddings back there like that.
Pretty realistic.
Oh, yeah.
And that was a Polish, was it Polish or?
Polish.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
they're Polish.
Eastern European.
Eastern European, because they were Orthodox Catholic, right? Not just Catholic.
No, yeah.
They're Orthodox Catholic. And I find Orthodox Catholic, the Orthodoxy is really interesting. You know, it's got its roots in Eastern Europe all the way down into Greece. You know,
And every one of those extras, the girls that were all dressed up in that wedding,
we're real.
I knew every one of them, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
They must have gone back
I would.
to get a real handle on what those folks were like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's go and get this baby going. We got 20 minutes. Well, not even that. Before we got to take our first break. So we open up on something we all know and have experienced in the military.
Oh yeah.
And they use real military barbers for this scene. And which they did also for Stripes, by the way, and didn't warn anybody. They do this a lot.
Right. Yeah. Same scene.
This scene is in almost every movie.
Good
of that
recruit
era.
film because they do not give you the high and tight. It is
No.
a complete near shaving of your head.
Onion
Because
head.
everybody is equally worthless.
Yes.
They take away your personality with that.
Yep.
That's what they're doing.
It is all part of the breaking you down to build you back up.
And that's what he's doing in this scene. He's giving them the speech that they are
Oh
nothing.
my God. This one.
This is Gunnery Sergeant Hartman.
Yes.
This is a role that he stole from another actor. The guy that's the machine gunner on the helicopter was the original actor cast as Hartman. And he lost the role because Ermi very cunningly did all the rehearsals and was so good that Kubrick would have been insane not to bring him in to do it.
He
He's just
probably
perfect.
ad-libbed everything he did in that.
He did ad-lib.
this.
Yeah.
Everything was ad-libbed.
And the screaming at the guys, definitely, yeah.
'Cause
He's
he
giving
did
them
this,
their
he lived
names.
it, so, you know. I
He's
mean,
giving them their names here.
And you know, and like you brought up, you know, with everybody's head shaved, your identity is gone. You're all the same, and that's the whole idea: is that you're all the same. And that's Snowball. I love that one.
yeah, Private Snowball.
Yeah.
Joker.
Couldn't get
And
away.
Joker
really-
does that line.
Did
John
he really
Wayne line.
smack him as hard as it looked like he did?
Oh, he hit him. He hit.
He hit
what's
Kyle
his
too
name?
when he
D'Onofrio
loses
too.
when
He
loses
really
his cover.
nailed him.
Yeah.
He open hand slapped the shit out of him.
And
I'm
not
talking
just-
about when he hit him in the gut.
Oh, punched him? Yeah. And he's actually kind of choking D'Onofrio because the way he grabs him.
What have we got here? A fucking comedian.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
There it
This
is.
scene, and this is the establishment and of the Joker character, who is based on Hasford himself. He was a smartass, an atheist. And I tell people all the time, you are more apt to find an atheist in the military, well, infantry, than you were to find a leftist.
Yeah.
Because I'd never met a leftist while I was in service. I met a lot of atheists.
Right.
Cowboy. I knew a guy just like him. And good old boy. He wanted to
He
be
was
a
the
plumber.
captain of the football team, guaranteed.
Yeah,
That guy.
well, the cowboy I knew, he was a country boy. He was going to go be a plumber, but he wanted to be an airborne plumber. So it was funny. And see how he's getting right up on him with his hat? God, they did
Pop
that.
you with that thing, man.
They
Yeah.
bump you right in the face with it.
Mhm.
It was a weapon. That thing was tight on their heads, Marine and Army. They wear the same Smokey the Bear hat.
I still think they look stupid.
I love that you can say all you want to, baby.
I know.
And every single one of us is served go, you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And I had a hat like that was bowed upward. I had a classic Western
An
style.
F-True hat, huh?
I loved it, man. Got stolen the first time I ever took it out of the house.
Mm,
Pissed me off. That's a $250 Stetson.
this poor
But
guy. What a
here we
great
go.
scene,
D'Onofrio.
man. Mm.
D'Onofrio.
That's
God,
fine.
I think we've all served with idiots like this guy. Low IQ.
Very
And
low.
and he's smiling because he doesn't know how not to smile.
Right. And when Gerry
He
says
goes, choke yourself.
he's not
with your hands, with mine. Don't grab me.
Mm-hmm.
And he has to lean forward into it, and he pinches him. And when he pinches him, you can actually see it. It's pretty incredible. I think he gripped the shit out of his throat.
That would hurt.
Yeah, see, he's digging his thumb in.
Mm-hmm.
And, hey, Christopher, what's up? There's no question about, look, I know that one incident where a drill instructor beat the shit out of a guy.
Mm-hmm.
And he called him into his office and to report, and he shut that door, and we heard furniture moving.
Yeah, they weren't hitting guys when
Thank
I
you,
was in,
Chris.
but they hadn't put the stress card thing in yet, which is
Yeah, that came
unbelievable
after
me.
me. That was in the 90s, and I'm just like, they're losing their minds.
They are losing their minds doing that. You want to get soldiers ready, you got to toughen them up. I mean, there's no two ways about it.
Yeah.
And the next big war, we'll find out how that worked out.
So the one thing I always get irritated by when you see the drill and ceremony scenes in military movies is how the weapons are never lined up. And I'm telling you, from coming from the military, that's something they beat out of you pretty quickly.
Yep.
How to hold your weapon so everybody looks uniform. There's a uniformity. And if you don't have that during DNC, they'll knock the shit out of you. They'll drop you. They'll smoke you, as we call it. They will.
Like he's smoking.
Oh, there he
right
He just
there.
slapped the shit out of him.
Yeah, because he's held his weapon the wrong way. He's doing
But
just
they're still
what you
beginners,
said,
though, so it's okay.
beating it out of him. Yep.
And of course, this is the moment where you see him. Isn't this the point when he's walking around
in
his
toddler mode? Yep.
Yep, toddler mode. Seen that happen to guys. They will humiliate you, and they use the democratic system to put the fear of God in you too. That if I'm not going to smoke you, your own guys will, because I'm going to punish them. I will punish them for the shit you do. And I've seen that happen too, and they do that in this film. Perfect.
Yeah, they show you a blanket party.
Yeah, that's when
they?
Pyle starts breaking.
Yeah. They give it a fancy name in the movie A Few Good Men. It's just a blanket party. The code red is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's dumb. It's a blanket party. We had a guy, not in my company, but a dude from another company in our battalion at McClellan in Alabama, the mountains of Alabama, northern Alabama. He fucked up pretty bad, so his guys threw him in a wall locker and shoved that wall locker down the stairs. So he got
somebody just said,
his own guys.
Christopher James just said that they beat the shit out of me. They shoved me in a locker and started flipping it.
Yeah.
They did something very similar with my brother in the Marine Corps. He was at Camp Lejeune, and they put him in a locker, and it was in the middle of the room. They had pulled the locker out, put him in the locker, him and his buddy Joe, both of them, and grabbed hammers and beat the shit out of the lockers with the hammers while they were inside. And my brother Steve said that blood was coming out of his ears when he came out. And I was like, God damn, man.
Yeah.
Hey, Gerry, I got a question for you. I know
Yes, sir.
I know Ermy was in Vietnam.
Yes, he did. He did a tour.
Did he see combat over there?
That I don't know. I could probably ask Dale about that and find out for you. But I wouldn't, I'm right here. Let me look it up. Arlie.
This is my rifle. This is my gun. How funny that scene is. My God,
and
it's great.
What's funny is, even though that was not done to us, we knew about it. Yeah. And I during night fire training, they couldn't see us. We're walking around in the dark, going from lane to lane. And I saw some guys, and I yelled at them, doing the voice of one of the drill instructors. I dropped them, smoked them on the spot on the trail, and they're doing push-ups. And I got them up, and I made them walk around holding their M16 over their head, downrange, always downrange. And they had to do this is my rifle, this is my gun, this is for killing, this is for fun.
It's fun, yep.
And then the real drill sergeant that I was doing the impression of goes, "The hell are you doing?" It's funny as hell.
He's right behind me, isn't he?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm telling you, man. They're very creative drill instructors. They really are. We had one drill instructor lost a stripe and his privilege of being an instructor during training because one of the recruits got caught with contraband. The contraband was Listerine in his locker, foot locker, and he made him drink it. Problem was, that boy was just 18. It has alcohol in it.
Yep.
And his mother found out. And mothers are the worst thing for the military. It's where
They are.
Everything that's gone. The woke snowflakes out there learned from moms and Christian moms all over the country. They're just the worst.
Helicopter parents.
When I showed this movie to my wife, she couldn't get past the opening scene with Ernie. And
well, Ernie is so good here because
yeah.
Gomer Pyle is just his thing is not the climbing, it's the height and having to cross over the fear of falling, and that's the thing that drives him. This is so good, just showing him beating the shit out of him by
so
making
hard
him
to watch.
You know, and I've seen guys like this. We had so many people fall out from forced
and his
marches
battle
and runs.
buddies right there with him. Yeah, I mean,
Sugar gets assigned to him later to teach him everything, but he started helping way before that.
Yeah.
So, and there's in a true story, we had a guy that they called Gomer Pyle when we were in reception, and I ran into him during basic too. Oh man, this. Oh my God.
Fun.
Hey, Monkey.
Yes.
That's because they didn't get a choice. This was Vietnam. They were drafted.
I was fixing to say,
where did you serve, Jeebus?
Yeah.
Where did you serve? This isn't volunteer military. This is drafted.
Yeah.
But anyway, they called this one guy Gomer Pyle.
They don't serve Oreo cookies and lots of dope there, pal. Do they?
Yeah.
Well, there was dope in Vietnam, though.
No.
Once you got past basic.
No, I know what you mean. But yeah, it's like, what's it? Somebody just popped in. There's Martin. Good morning, Martin.
Hey, good morning.
Yeah, I'm
Hi,
glad
Martin.
you're here. We were missing you this morning.
But what I was going to say about Ermi is what he's doing is a work of art because no matter what they say, it has to be wrong that comes out of their mouths. And he makes it sound like they're wrong every time it comes out of their mouth, you know?
Yeah, and that leads to the scene where he fires Snowball. And I watched something like that happen myself, where a drill instructor fired a squad leader and hired this other guy that was bitching about him. And he said, now, what are you going to do different? And the guy goes, you're fired. And he rehires my buddy Julio back to not just squad leader, but platoon leader, or platoon guide. I'm sorry, platoon guide. He's lead squad leader. I helped a lot of guys like this because we had a lot of guys who just didn't know shit about weapons.
Yeah.
And I grew up around those things. This is the part that cracks me up is they're this far into training and he doesn't know how to lace his boot. He had to show him that.
He's like a 10-year-old child. He knows
He
nothing.
really is. He's a kid. He's a little kid. Look, I hate using
obviously
the word if
slow.
people are offended by it, but I'm going to say the word because it's a technical word. He's mildly retarded.
Yeah, he's mentally retarded. Yes.
And all he's got to get is a freaking 40, I think, a 40 or a 50 on his ASVAB. And they'll take you into the infantry.
We had a kid in basic, Echo Company, 2nd Battalion, 3rd Brigade, okay, who was autistic.
Wow.
And this is no shit.
Yeah.
This guy was a little guy, kind of mousy, hadn't a freaking clue. He lasted about 3 or 4 weeks before they finally got him out of there. But you know, the goddamn enlistment sergeant that got that kid in there, and I kind of suspect, his family was trying to like get him the hell out of the house.
Right.
This guy was so clueless, but I felt so bad for him. He used to cry at night. Okay, he'd break down and bawl like a baby because, I mean, he was in like this. He was in such a world of shit. It was unbelievable. And it was.
I
of
mean,
course,
it's
back
tough
in
enough
those days.
for us that have the mental capacity for it. Imagine if you don't.
Can you
have
pause
that
for a
mental
second and go back
capacity.
to that real quick?
Mm-hmm.
That's an important scene. As I recall, this is a scene where he's talking about two of the biggest killers.
No,
of the
that's not
60s.
it. That's not it,
Oh, it's
Gerry.
not it.
That's not
It's
it. No.
not.
That's why
okay.
he's talking. The deadliest weapon is a Marine with his rifle, but it takes a hard heart to kill.
Hard heart to kill.
Because
and it's true.
if you don't have a hard heart, you will hesitate, and then you will become a dead Marine, and then you're in a world of shit because a Marine doesn't have permission to die.
Right.
And all I got to say, Monkey.
Very good, Anima.
Monkey.
Very good.
Monkey.
She obviously took
Monkey.
notes.
I got to respond to Monkey. Monkey, look, man, stop doing that, man. Stop doing that. Do not compare, because I had gangbangers. I served with gangbangers, guys that were fleeing shootings that they dealt with. It's not the same. There's no comparison. Being in the military is about discipline more than anything. Being good at your job, but more than anything, living for the person that's right next to you. It's not about yourself. There's nothing worse than an individual, and people who are individual are people who talk about themselves and the things that are happening to them and not the people around them. And it's tough to become that kind of person, to spend your life devoted, and possibly the last of your life, devoted to a person next to you.
We need to go to break, Gerry.
Oh my gosh, here we are.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah.
So, gang activity is one thing, but military is a whole other.
Yep.
Bill, take us away. Hi, guys. This is Gerry from Pop Culture Minefield here on KGRA, and we're leaving for our first break. I hope we survive.
A birthday without her mom. An anniversary without her husband. Her wedding day without her dad. These are the days when military families feel it most of all. The loss of their soldier, their sailor, their airman, their Marine, their Coast Guardsman. Families never forget their loved ones lost to war or illness or suicide. Families never forget, and neither do we. We are TAPS, the Tragedy Assistance Program for Survivors. We provide resources, support, and comfort to heal the hearts and meet the needs of grieving military families, all at no cost to them. Your generosity can make an enormous difference in the lives of the families of our fallen military heroes. Our military families need to know they are not alone and they are not forgotten. Show them your support at taps.org.
Important question facing humanity is on the verge of being settled once and for all. The Mutual UFO Network has been at the forefront of this journey for nearly 50 years. Our members worldwide are dedicated to the research, documentation, and awareness that will shape the future of humanity. Won't you join us?
Hey members, the new KGRA DB app is now available on iOS and Android devices. Gain on-demand access to any KGRA DB programming. Download any show directly to your mobile device to listen or watch on the go. Go to the App Store and search KGRA DB.
Oh, wow, we survived. Welcome back from the commercial break. Now for some more Pop Culture Minefield on KGRA. Pop Culture Minefield.
We survived.
Yes.
Yep.
So, and I'm going to tell you that things that you experience in life, I'm not trying to diminish anything, Monkey, of what you experienced, but there is absolutely zero connection or comparison. And it's just better not to compare. Being in the military is one of the biggest things you got to remember, especially in a volunteer military, is that is a personal sacrifice to serve something bigger and greater than yourself. And
I
a lot of us take pride in that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, by the way, Gary, Chris DePerno, our buddy, just gave me a quick call. He said, you guys couldn't have gotten this any more right about the Marine Corps basic. He got shoved in. He told me he got shoved into a locker and they throw it around.
Is that him that's talking right now, Christopher James? Is that our buddy?
No,
DePerno?
Chris DePerno.
Yeah, because he just said the same thing. Christopher James said the same thing about the locker, which is why I brought up my brother being put in a locker and having it beat with hammers. So that's weird. We have two different Chris's watching today. Is he watching from Facebook? Where's he watching? You should join the chat.
I don't know.
Huh.
Yeah,
That's cool that he called, though. Yeah, and that's what they do. They take the weakest and they utilize the other soldiers to help them become better, because it's too much work for a drill instructor to do it all. And
also brings the team dynamic into it. Make the team help build that one guy up. Yeah.
And I do know that, like with my platoon, I threatened every guy in my squad. In fact, I threatened other squads. I said, if I find out anybody, as a squad leader, if I find out anybody, blanket party, anybody in this platoon, I said, we will wreck your fucking world. That's our job. And I did hands-on training with guys if they got stupid. And I'd knock the shit out of them. Drill instructors didn't have to. They get us to do it, the squad leaders.
I did a lot of teaching of guys when I was in basic, because I was 4 years ROTC, so I knew.
Oh, go ahead and hit play, John. I'm sorry. Yeah. Go ahead and hit play.
But one of the things that on the subject you were talking about earlier, why people join and stuff, one of the best things I've ever heard explaining that was if you've ever seen the movie Reacher with Tom Cruise,
right?
When he's explaining about the guy that that he thinks is the sniper at the beginning of it, he says there's 3 reasons why people join the military. 1, they need a job. 2, it's a family business, which is why you and me, probably Don too, joined the military. It's family business. That's what we do. And the other one was because they want a legal means to kill somebody. That's the rarity. Most people are joining to serve something bigger than themselves.
Well, I spent most of my early life in basic training. My old man was a senior chief warrant officer.
Yeah. See, there you go. Yeah. I'm the son of a drill sergeant.
Yeah, my dad was just Army, and he would just knock the shit out of me and raise me that way.
We fall into the family business side of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like my first day in basic training, very first day, they brought people into to my foot locker and my locker to look at how I had it dressed. And drill instructor was like, how'd you learn to do that? I said, my dad.
I got dropped by every drill instructor on the quad the first day. I did well over 200 push-ups the first day because the only glasses I had, and I'm blind as a bat without glasses, were prescription sunglasses. So, yeah,
you were cool.
Yeah, I was cool. I was Hollywood.
I got to wear these in basic because I learned in basic training that if you tell them that the BC glasses they issue you, they're called BC glasses because that means birth control. Yeah. Because no woman will have sex with you when you're wearing
Buddy
them.
Holly glasses, baby.
Yeah, they're really messed up looking. So my buddy John, who's still a friend of mine to this day, he and I discovered that rule. So he got his wraparound Kumo D glasses, and his nickname was Kumo D, and I got my John Lennon glasses. And both of us looked cool as soldiers. And the other guy's like, shit ain't fair. And I'm like, that's life, motherfucker. The jelly donut scene.
Yes.
Yeah,
His foot locker is unlocked during the.
They're paying for it. You eat it.
And
inspection.
And he does.
Yeah.
And
he establishes that every time Pyle fucks up, he's going to punish the whole squad and not him.
He's done.
He makes everybody hate him.
With him, and now he's going to make them deal with him. And he's like, everybody hates me, Joker. And it's a tough scene, but I've seen guys go through this shit. And I mean that he's dressing him here just blows my mind. This is how messed up he is.
Joker
and
says,
the problem is the only way to help him The only way to help him is to break him.
Yeah.
And that's what happens. They break him. And
you see smarter guys.
And it's so weird because he was getting it. He was doing so well.
Mm-hmm.
And then the donut.
Then the donut.
And the jelly donut, in fact. It was jelly-filled donut. And I'm like, where did they serve that in the chow hall? I don't recall him ever serving donuts in chow.
No.
This is so brutal.
Yeah, and one of the reasons why they do it this way is because it doesn't leave bruises like beating with your fists, putting a soap bar in a sock, the thick socks.
You wrap them in towels here.
And everybody has to partake in it. It's sort of like the murder on the Orient Express. Everybody had to stab the bad guy that was murdered.
Yeah, and Joker hesitates at first, and then he goes at him the hardest.
And then he goes at him the hardest because he's the one who's put the most work into him, and he's frustrated with him. Mm-hmm. And then Cowboy goes, "Just a dream."
Yeah,
yeah.
And those are the beds we had too. By the way, we had the same pipe frames. Mm-hmm. And idiots would get their tobacco products and they'd put them in the pipe of the bunk. They'd lift it up and put it in the... Like, you're going to get caught. And they did. Every single one of them got busted. Yep. Now you start to see the M14s almost looking uniform when they're holding them. There's one or two holdouts back. Well, it's actually something that happens. It's I don't know how they pulled that, if it was intentional or if it's just because they followed the progress of them learning how to handle the weapons as actors that they got better handle. Here it is. This is the scene. Charles Whitman, Lee Harvey Oswald.
Yep.
Even though Lee Harvey Oswald was referred to as Maggie's Drawers, not a good shot in the military. He was a flunky in the military. I do like the fact that they throw that in there. And Charles Whitman murdered a lot of kids from the clock tower.
Texas Tower, yeah.
Texas Tower. Yeah. Kurt Russell in the movie, The Deadly Tower. Good freaking made-for-TV movie. Che, a guy I knew through OSUT in Fort Knox, Kentucky, was a gangbanger. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I get you. We had one of my closest friends in the Army. When he told me what got him there, I told him, everybody in the platoon, do not hang around him when we're outside, because he had people from his rival gang looking for him. I said it's a good way to get shot because Fort Leonard Wood was an open base at that point. And anybody could drive on post. And that was unnerving.
Freaked me out at Hood. That Hood, one of the biggest armored posts in the free world in '84, was an open post. I was like, man, you gotta be kidding me.
Hey, Dennis. What's that he say? Frames. BCGs, yep. Because plated metal glasses turn. Oh man, you got that skin sensitivity. That sucks, dude. We had the same type of beds when I was in boot in '96. Now you served when they were doing the stress cards, Dennis. I was still in. I think it was 96 is when it was 95 or 96 when he started the stress cards. But this is a creepy scene because Gomer's talking to his gun like it's a person, and Joker spots it.
Joker starts worrying about him. Yeah,
dry mopping.
He notices that he's going crazy.
And it's not really dry, but they're wrung dry, that they don't leave a lot of water on the floor. And they really do a good job cleaning. Look at those toilets, man.
They're talking about him probably needing to leave.
Yeah, he wants to bang his sister. How much? Let me bang your sister. That's a great scene between two best friends. Yeah. They started in '97. Okay.
The Clinton years.
Oh boy.
In case they're going to travel that far, they're too lazy. It's true. It's true. Yeah, the guy that we had, he joined in New York and was sent with us there at Fort Leonard Wood. And he was being sought for questioning in New York while he was serving. and because he hadn't been arrested yet, they didn't know where to look for him. Stress cards are ridiculous. I love those Marine Corps hats, man. I love those.
Yeah.
Navy SEALs wear the similar cap.
We skipped over an important scene because we
Which
discovered
one?
finally that there's something that Pite is good at, and that's shooting.
Yeah.
Oh, he's a hell of a shot. Yep.
Where the drill instructors.
I love
right
the
there.
cadence scenes. The guy carrying the flag is called a guidon. A lot of people
He's
don't know
also
that.
supposed
Guidons
to
are
be
a tradition in the
best.
Army and Marine Corps.
He's also supposed to be the best soldier of the bunch because that's actually a weapon he's carrying.
That's right.
It's a spear.
That's right. That's what the top is designed for.
Yes,
Glad you remember that shit, man.
I do. I love it.
Oh, you were at Fort Dix too, Jay?
In Knox, 2000.
Yeah, Fort Knox isn't Disneyland. That's Fort Dix, Fort Disneyland. And they closed Dix. It really sucks because it was a good base. It was actually the first co-ed base.
Every place I served is closed now except for Hood.
I love this scene. Graduation.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that, man.
We don't want to say what those hats are called. We don't want to say that.
We'll say it. It's cunt cap.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we called him. Garrison cap.
That's what we called them too.
I like this scene because everybody remembers this. Like before you get sent to AIT, you get the report of where you're going. All of us knew where we were going. A lot of us did because we had signed up with that as part of our contract. I was going to Fort Sam Houston for combat medic training. I love this one.
Where I was. Yeah.
Are you think you're goddamn Mickey Spillane?
This is where he tells them, "You Marines now, you will be brothers until the day you die."
You know, one thing about the Marines I've always admired.
Pause
Every
this.
Marine, from the commanding general of the Corps to the lowliest cook and baker, are first and foremost a rifleman.
That's
and
right.
That's something the goddamn Army should have adopted too.
I completely agree with you. Everybody should be 11 Bravo, basic 11 Bravo at all times in the Army. Now, drill sergeant said that. It's not true. It's not true. I had a drill sergeant say that to me, that you're all 11 Bravo until you become something else. I said, no, 11 Bravo is an MOS, and you get further training in that. But this is Fire Guard, or Fire, what do they call it in this?
Firewatch.
Fire Guard is what we called it, and you walk around with the helmet liner if you have steel pots. We did not. We had Kevlar. So you were given one of these old fucking helmet liners, and they look like toy helmets. They look like toy helmets, but they're actually just part of the M1 helmet.
They're the liner.
Yeah, they're the liner. You can see the little rivets in it holding the straps on. And we all
you
had to
also
put them
walk
on.
around with a notebook because
You had a
guys will
notebook?
say shit. Yeah, guys will say shit in their sleep, and you take notes on it, and let them know about it the next day.
Yep.
That's
and,
messed
Just to
up.
embarrass them.
and you walk around with your military flashlight. It's the curved neck.
Mhm.
And you're supposed to walk around not with the white light like he has here. It's the red one with the red lens on it.
I actually
And-
saw guys have conversations with each other while they were sleeping next to each other.
That's fucking nuts. Yeah, well, you get so tired. I'm not surprised. The exhaustion. But I told you, I caught a guy under his blanket, head to toe, covered.
Yeah.
Whacking his monkey,
You
man.
know,
Just beating the
yeah.
shit out of his monkey. And the red light, he couldn't see the red light through his wool blanket. And all he knows is that I sat there with the flashlight on, my buddy's right next to me, and I'm like that. And then my voice breaks the silence and goes, "What you doing, Chucky?"
Oh my God.
And he's like, "Hey man, I'm trying to sleep here." I went, "Yeah, that's some really busy sleeping you doing there."
Yeah, some vigorous sleep.
Stress
Very
relief.
vigorous.
Stress relief before going to sleep.
You are a
What's this
dick.
one? Backdoor Gary, you cancel cultured the Mexican
We all
idea.
know that, Don.
because you didn't understand gangs won't chase you into the military, and if they listen. Well, actually, I fucked with the Mexicans in my platoon. I would constantly, like, there's this one Martinez. who I would just mess with him all the time, because right before formation, you're out there, you're formed up, you're all standing around waiting for morning formation, and every squad leader goes down his squad, and you do the same thing. It's basic inspection. You get in front of them, you go all the way down to one side, up to the top, and then all the way down the other side to make sure they're dressed right, that their uniform's on right, all that shit. And I would notoriously say fucked up shit to the recruits that were in my squad. Like, I wouldn't do it to every person. And there were mostly guys in my squad. And I would just like say the gayest shit to him. Thanks for last night. And then move on to the next person. But there was this, Martinez was like, I love this guy. I really did. He was one of my favorite people I served with. Just the sweetest guy. And I would go, I'd ask him a question. He'd say something and I'd go, okay. And he got frustrated with it after a time because he didn't know if he knew I was fucking with him. Because he couldn't tell if I was saying, okay, like what? Or if I was saying, okay. And whatever he responded with next, it would always be the opposite. I meant okay.
I can't relate to Martinez.
We're not having a conversation. And then the other guys, they were standing around yik-yakking one day in Spanish. And I told Private U, hey, you. That was one of my favorite jokes with him. Hey, you. No, not you. You. And I said, hey, man, I know just enough Chinese. We got to fuck with the Mexicans right now. So we did. We started like talking. Some of it was mock Chinese. Some of it was real Chinese. And I said at some point, I need you to just start laughing at whatever I say. You know, the third stage of what I say, something, just go, ha, ha, ha. And I'm going to go, ha, ha, ha. And then right at that point, we both turned and looked at the Mexicans who were all staring at us. And I said, now you know what it feels like.
Oh, man.
They just started laughing. You're an asshole, Gary. I loved it. I love the diversity of the cultures when I was in there. The funniest one, we had this lady who was an exchange from Pakistan. And she was kind of a piece of shit, really, to be honest with you. And she would get
female from Pakistan.
Yeah, she was in there for medical training. She got stuck in with us. She was not in my platoon. She was in the other platoon, but she was out there all the time.
Oh, you're an AIT at this point.
And she goes, I cannot stand it when you're out here chittering and chattering. And I'm a smart ass. I'm like, you're looking for chit-chatting. Chit-chatting. Learn your Americanisms better. Okay. Chittering and chattering. We had Bajani was also from Pakistan. He was one of my favorite drill sergeants, and he would tell bedtime stories. Do you want we're all in our bunks. Would you like to hear a bedtime story? Everybody in unison. Yes, drill sergeant. From our bunks. And he goes, last night I went home and I fucked my wife. The end.
The end.
Go to sleep. Lights out.
You can't do that. Go to sleep.
He was the best. And but Fire Guard is just like one of those things. And so this scene, and once again, this never happened in the history of the Marine Corps or the Army. But this scene is one of the most intense moments in the film and is the end of the first half of the film, really. Go ahead.
Yeah.
This is when he finds
Private
Pyle.
Yeah.
And it's hard to get ammo. This is, you have to be really clever to do what he did here. That's why it's so improbable to sneak ammo into a barracks.
Yeah. And how he would be able to. He's stupid. I mean,
he's stupid as fuck. So that's one of the most unbelievable parts of this is that
live rounds.
He's got live rounds. Where the fuck do you get that from? Because
7.62 millimeters.
You report and you deliver. The only thing that we ever got away with during basic training was when we wanted to help other guys that couldn't shoot. So the other guys, when we would unload our magazine before getting out of the foxhole, we would quick thumb release any ammo left in our mag into the dirt. And then the next guy that's going to be shooting for somebody would have that extra ammo to qualify that guy with. And I did it. Cowboy did it because we were the two best shots in the company, Cowboy and I. And yes, it's really fucking weird. I was called Joker. We had an idiot named Gomer Pyle, and one of my best friends was nicknamed Cowboy.
I saw that movie.
Yeah, and I got mad when somebody called me Joker. I said, no. So they called me Ghost. They finally gave up on Joker. I wouldn't answer to it. I'm like, fuck you guys. I know I'm funny. Fuck you. Yeah. So this is an intense scene where...
we explained to Helmet, he's on Firewatch.
Yeah, Firewatch. Yeah, so, yeah, look.
Why are you not stomping?
I'm going to owe Paulie the rest of my life for starting that whole backdoor thing. And it is kind of karma. Because I don't know. Okay. It is the responsibility of the fire guard to inform drill instructor that Private Powell has a locked and loaded weapon with live ammunition. Well, Private Powell.
Yeah.
I am in a world of shit.
No, that's what he says before he shoots himself.
This is a Kubrick thing, the face. Because the scene in the book is a little different. This is a Kubrick thing, gave him the Nicholson look.
Yeah.
It's a continued look that he wanted. Because
Mm-hmm.
D'Onofrio wasn't sure it would work, and it did. Once he saw it, it was like, oh, yeah. And, of course, he murders Drill Sergeant Hartman right in front of Joker. And Joker's like,
the sergeant talks,
hey, go easy, pal. Go easy,
man.
And then
right? I'm not the one.
Starts shouting at him, and that's why he snaps.
Yeah. Did your mommy not give you enough attention when you were a child as the one that
what is your major malfunction here? That's what he shouts at him.
And that was a really well done squib on this scene.
Yeah, it was.
Of course, in a moment like that with a high-powered rifle like that, most of his head would be gone.
Yeah.
And here we go. Once again, this is something else really important, is all of the Vietnam scenes were filmed in England. In fact, they were filmed in fall and winter. Filmed in fall and winter, and the uniforms they're wearing are not winter uniforms.
No.
So they were freezing during a lot of the filming of this.
Baldwin is in
and
a
they
tank
filmed
top.
it backwards, too, by the way. All of the stuff in Vietnam was filmed first, and then the recruit scene so they could shave their heads, for that opening scene.
Right.
They were filmed backwards. The signs are all based on real signs in Vietnam. They did a really great job dressing this film. Anton Furst is the production designer for this, and anybody who's a nerd knows who that is. Private Powell managed to sneak in a jelly donut. Don't even know where the fuck he get it. Like the Marine Corps would serve a donut at Chow, right? That was ridiculous, But this is a great scene because a lot of these guys right here steals his camera, jumps off, does the Bruce Lee thing.
Yeah, Rastaman
Bruce Lee was big.
stole.
And they do the fake martial arts thing back at him.
Right. Yeah.
There it is. That's the I'm not sure if that's the M60 or the M48 patent.
Run it back up.
Back up one.
That's not an M48.
What is it? Is that the M60?
That's not an M60. It's got the butterfly triggers on it.
Well, it's not an M47 either because the M47 is the one in the background.
Mm-hmm.
That's an M47 with the weird looking back.
That's not a 60. I can tell you that. We used to have them on our Jeeps. Yeah.
But it's got a beautiful mounted Browning 50 caliber.
Ma deuce.
Beautiful weapon. And in the background, you see a flying grasshopper. All the trees were flown in from India, the Near East, and they were not natural there. This is England. This is in Wales, in fact. And what he did here, because a lot of people don't know this, he suffered from a phobia. He was terrified of flying. It's something that he acquired. Yeah, Kubrick acquired a fear of flying.
I can relate to that.
That is no, that is incorrect, Glenn. That is incorrect. Close. The girl is a different actress. That was a 12-year-old actress, a 12-year-old girl that plays the sniper.
I was fixing to say it's a kid later on.
Yeah, it's a kid in the end. But her name is given later or early in the film in one of the prostitute scenes where they showed Red River Valley with John Wayne in the background. The woman's name mentioned, the Vietnamese name mentioned below the John Wayne artwork, is the name of the actress that plays the sniper. He should have understood that Garmer was bigger than him when he snaps, "You're dead." Well, it depends. You know, I knew a lot of blubbery guys that were bigger than me, and I just threw them around. So size does matter, and then sometimes size doesn't matter. It depends on what you're doing. But I get what you're saying, Monkey.
Well, if they can't breathe, they can't.
Go ahead and hit play. Go ahead and hit play, man. So I'm trying to remember right now the exact number. I got to find it here. Because that is a common helicopter. I painted them onto one of Dale Dye's books, in fact. And I'm trying to remember which one that is. That is the H-34. H-34. I always thought it looked like a grasshopper.
Yeah.
The two main helicopters used by the Marine Corps was the Sikorsky and the Chinook. And the Chinook looked like a green bean, and the Sikorsky looked like a grasshopper. And I always thought that was weird.
So the Hueys were Army?
Yeah. Yeah, Hueys are Army. Yeah. Okay. Army Air.
Dialogue in the scene.
Army Air Force. Air Force and Army both use Hueys.
Okay.
Dialogue in the last scene was important because Rafterman, he's complaining. He wants trigger time. He's so ready for this. And when he actually gets it, he's so not ready.
And Rafterman is based on, I think Hasford and Dale said it was like three different people.
Yeah.
But each one of the characters is mostly based on a real person, except for Rafterman and Animal Mother. Animal Mother is a combination of 4 different people. Guys that had just seen too much combat and liked it.
Now this guy right here.
He was way darker.
He is your typical journalism guy. You know, let's keep it positive. And by the way, Daddy DA is right there. The black guy sitting to his immediate left there is Daddy DA. And that is the character based on Dale Dye.
Well, what I was going to say, notice that those bars are silver. That guy is the backbone of the military right there. The butter bars, they're still learning, but when you get that silver bar, you've got some experience and you get a little more respect.
I'm going to tell you, we had a captain in our platoon and off duty, just joking around. I made the comment. I said, you know what I love about the captain's bars? He's like, what's that? I said, it's just basically saying you're a double lieutenant.
Right? Yeah. That's what it looks like. Yeah.
It's what they are. It's a double lieutenant. It's two lieutenant bars.
They are these guys. They're the backbone of the officer corps. The first lieutenants, not the
first
second
lieutenants.
Lieutenant.
Not second.
The second
garbage.
lieutenants are still learning their jobs and don't know shit. Yeah. The butter bars, as we call them.
For God's sake, never give them a map.
No,
never give them a map, or anybody in the Air Force. I like the way they designed this set, because it really does look a lot like the photos. Great job. Anton First again. Amazing job. And wait, Hubert, as a pyramid running from Snake Games, Private Powell managed to sneak in a jelly donut. Well, I mean, even the jelly donut, though, Dennis, is bullshit. Like, the Marine Corps didn't serve jelly donuts.
You know, now that we're revisiting it, Private Powell would have had a great life as a smuggler. You got a jelly donut in there and bullets. It's crazy, man.
Another thing.
Yeah, this life, this is one of my favorite memories of being in the military, is being out in the field.
Yeah.
In those big tents with your buddies.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good scene.
Bored. They are really
well,
bored.
Rafterman wants to be a real soldier. He's like, I want to be a real soldier. I want to be a real boy.
Yes,
and,
also it's the Vietnamese Lunar New Year, so there's a ceasefire. Nothing is happening, or so they think.
Well, yeah, and one thing that every movie has gotten wrong, including The Longest Beer Run Ever, is how the Tet Offensive happened and what really happened during the Tet Offensive. They always make it look like we were caught with our pants down and got our asses handed to us. That's not what happened. We were caught with our pants down, pulled them up, and then killed the motherfuckers. Yeah. Because they screwed up. The North Vietnamese screwed up in their communications. So part of their operation started early, accidentally, and they got slaughtered out in the jungle. And then the operation, it was going towards the American bases and the embassy. Because it wasn't coordinated correctly, it failed. But media loves to make up a story. And outside of tracers, the combat in this scene is really interesting and well done. It's keeping the enemy at a far distance without a face.
The line, "I'm not ready for this shit."
Hey, Gary, I just had a flash of consciousness. You know another movie we got to tear apart?
What's that?
Siege of Firebase Gloria.
Oh, no, I totally agree with you. It is on the list. It is, and it's for you. I'm going to do that one in particular. So we got to do that one. And I do want to do also another film for Dale, is Charlie Mopek. I'd like to do that one. But my brother told me that, man, did this give him flashbacks.
Really?
Yeah. But those, see the band around the helmet there in that picture? That's what we had during part of our training, because part of my training was with Kevlar. The other part of my training was with the old M1 helmets, and we had, it's inner tube. It's all it is. Little kid cycle bicycle inner tubes, sliced up, used for headbands. Put your shit in it.
Talking about the rubber band around the camo thing?
Yep. Okay. That's inner tube. Rubber.
Didn't know that.
Flak jackets. Marine Corps got the shit into the stick when it came to flak jackets. A lot of the flak jackets the Marines had, everything the Marines get is hand-me-downs.
Yes, they are.
From the Army. Mm-hmm. And they were using, at the first part of the Vietnam War, flak jackets from the Korean period. I shit you not. Didn't do much of anything. They basically look like ski vests.
Before you get off the M1 helmets, if you remember when this movie came out, the poster was one of those helmets.
This is beautiful, by the way. This is all done by second unit director. Oh my God, this is in the book. I love this scene. This is the original actor who was supposed to be Hartman doing this, and he's about to throw up just from him talking and him shooting, because he's firing into innocent people as they're driving through in their rice paddies. And this scene in the book was rough. And he delivers one of the most, two memorable fucking lines, that, do you remember what it is, Anima? I don't want to do it. I want you to do it. The well-trained.
Of course.
The well-trained VC.
Of course. If someone's...
Say the line.
If someone's running, he's a... If someone's running, he's a VC. If someone's standing still, he's a well-disciplined VC.
Well-disciplined VC. That's right.
He goes, I got a confirmed 100 and some kills, and he goes, you should do a story on me. It's like, this is crazy. Yeah, crazy. This is the guy that was supposed to be Hartman. And he is a Vietnam veteran. He served in Vietnam in combat, in real life. And
that's a 60 that he's got right
And he goes, how can you do it? How can you kill women and children? And that's the line I remember from the book more than anything.
Easy.
You just don't lead him as much.
Just don't lead him
as much.
It's
easy. You just don't lead him as much.
Yeah.
And he starts laughing.
That guy's fucking crazy.
And Rafterman's like, still like dry heaving.
Yeah. But that's an M60 he's using right there.
Yep. The replacement for the BAR.
The Rambo gun.
The Rambo gun. And we had a drone instructor that did that, and he goes, "You can't hit anything. You can't hit anything." But it was fun to watch him do it. It was fun to watch. Yeah, look at him laughing, man. That's a crazy scene.
Yeah, it is.
Well, that's what I had when we got overrun up on the Z at A4.
60?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. And let me tell you what, that's why I want to do the Siege of Firebase Gloria, because that movie was like a flashback for me.
Did you have somebody feeding the belt for you?
Nope.
No. Wow.
Probably did it the classic way. It's either in a carrier or you got it wrapped around your arm.
Yep.
Yeah, that box.
There. Now, see, those are the older M47s that just went by. They've got the British Bulldog looking turret on the back. It's got that extra area on the back. I love the use of helicopters in this, He created this visual. This is Wales, England. And it looks like Vietnam. They did a good job. The only thing I think that doesn't work is how red the soil was in Vietnam.
Yeah.
And this is more regular dust. whereas the dust in Vietnam was reddish. There was a reddish hue to
Everybody looked like a ginger.
Yeah, but how much?
Yeah, everybody
How much
covered in
percent
dirt
of
looked
the
like
viewers would know that?
No, it doesn't matter. They did a fantastic job. But
Yeah.
there's going to be, I would say, at least 15% of your audience should know that.
Anybody that was over there.
Mm-hmm. Born to Kill.
With a peace sign on his helmet. Yep.
My helmet liner had writing on it. I wouldn't put it on the actual liner. I put it on the band. And mine said, "Peace by superior firepower," is what mine said. And
Peace
everybody in
through
my
strength.
squad had written on their helmets, and I'm so honored that they did that. It says, "I love my fearless squad leader."
Yeah.
This is a great scene. He's got the peace sign, and he brings up something that's true because
The duality of man.
Hasford was a Union in real life. And so this is a great scene when you get this fucking armchair warrior walk up to him right here. I can't remember.
No, he's a colonel.
Is he a Kurt?
He's a colonel.
Well, he's an armchair
taken
warrior.
out for wearing a peace button.
Yeah, this guy is not a combat soldier. He's not even dressed like one. And he confronts him. Look at that. Yeah, he's a colonel, full bird colonel. Look at his hat. It's so dumpy looking. Everything about this guy says Pogue.
Pogue.
And Remph, modern day Fobbit.
Rear echelon motherfucker.
Rear echelon motherfucker. And look at the way he's wearing his hat. He's wearing his hat like a ball cap, like he's on a farm, That doesn't yell military.
By the
way, and he's like, "What's your malfunction?" He goes, "What's with the peace sign?" He goes, "It's about the duality, sir. It's the Union thing," and it's true.
Yeah.
And I like Joker for that, but Joker is also no nonsense kind of guy.
The Vietnam. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
He's just a nonconformist.
Yep.
Okay, during this scene, there's that guy right there, center screen, laying there with his hat down. Pay attention to that because it's important, and it's right from the book.
I was part of the last unit that was issued those Vietnam era fatigues. That's what we wore on Johnson Island. Because it was so hot out there.
They were a comfortable uniform, too.
Yeah, they were. I love them. Yeah.
They're very similar to what we wore, but we got the camo, the basic duty uniform, BDUs. Right.
I love that scene, by the way.
This one?
Because Cowboy doesn't know he's coming. But he knows that he's joining Cowboys.
And anybody that was in the military, whenever some guy that fucking shows up for a visit, I've had it happen. It's the best. I remember someone says,
here.
"Yo, kiss him, man. Someone here to see you." I went and I opened the door, and Julian Fuller, who you've seen photos of me with, just leaps up on me like just a tiny child with wrapping his legs and his arms around me. And I'm like, oh my God. Oh, Animal Mother. This is one of my favorite moments.
1 hour, 7 minutes into the movie, we finally meet him.
Yes.
This is one of the coolest dudes in real life and one of the best characters in any military movie
One of the
ever.
most underrated actors ever, too.
And Adam is the only good Baldwin.
He played a great alien on X-Files.
Yes, he did.
Yep.
And he's great in Chuck. God, I followed this guy's career. He was great in Firefly.
Dude, one of the best moments in Independence Day is whenever the general played by Robert Loggia looks at him and goes, "Is that glass bulletproof?" He's like, "No, sir." He pulls out his pistol and starts wailing away on the alien. That is badass. Love it.
And he played on Angel. He was a direct
shit.
representative.
I don't
from
remember
the senior partnership.
Okay, this is
here you go.
Here it is. This is his birthday, is what he says. Mm-hmm. This party is his. We're having a party for this guy. It's somebody they killed, and he's setting him up there. So people are just so deeply offended by this shit. But this is something that happens with combat vets when you're dealing directly with the enemy. And so when you hear stories of that Navy SEAL that got in trouble because two of his subordinates didn't like him, they started talking about how he posed with dead bodies. And it's like anybody in combat does that. A lot of guys do that. Women too. There's that famous photo of that girl posing with prisoners You know, that female guard in the I think that was Army.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, you know, it offends your sensibility, but it's too fucking bad. We don't see you doing it. You don't see you out there sacrificing. So why don't you go criticize yourself first? And I was unaware of this, that they did this. I knew they did it in Aliens, that each one of the actors wrote their own stuff on their helmets.
That's cool.
And I thought, oh, they did that with Aliens too. But once again, I think that's the M47 tank, and this is where their platoon leader gets killed. And you just see him
they get
drop
ambushed
behind
and
the
the
tank.
lieutenant goes down.
There he is. He's down. He's down. Now, this is supposed to be Hue City.
Yeah.
And what they did is they found an abandoned factory that was set to be demolition. And they went in there and destroyed part of it and dressed it up. And it did a very good job of making it kind of resemble Hue City.
Rafterman looks like he's having a good time being in the shit, isn't he?
Yeah, Rafterman. Guys like that, you know, I met a couple of guys like that, and I'm like, calm the fuck down.
Right?
Jesus Christ.
Baldwin's
I hated
character
guys
actually
like that.
has
Beware
has
what
the
you
line,
wish for,
so
young man.
You talk the talk, but do you walk the walk?
Walk the walk. You know, and he's like, I'm going to kick the shit out of you after you eat the peanuts out of my shit. Man.
Now, the medic that checked on him, just out of curiosity, and you don't have to go back. It's a
Hospital
question for you,
corpsman.
Gary. It's a question for you. My uncle was a medic in Vietnam, and he's the only one. The three brothers all served in Vietnam, but he's the only one with bullet wound scars. And he said he got them because he had a red medical tag on his helmet, and he lost it after he got shot the second time.
Yeah, it's something that was one of the primary targets in any unit. Is number one is RTO, number two combat medic, and number three anybody in a command position. And I think there was one more. I forget what it is. Don, are you there? Because I can't remember what the other one is. RTO is radio transmission operator.
Right.
They're easy targets you can identify. Combat medic, because they usually had the red cross on their helmets. Yeah. We stopped doing that. We didn't do that.
I was fixing to say, yeah, he was supposed to wear it, and he said none of them wore it because they got shot at.
It's a way to get shot. It is because you want to demoralize a unit, kill their medics.
Yeah, same reasoning behind don't salute guys in the field because
which led to one of the stupidest moments in Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah.
How much time we got left in this, buddy?
We have.
You're pretty close.
Yeah, we've got.
Because let's speed it up a little bit. Can you speed it up just a little bit? Play faster. There's a setting in there. Play faster.
This is one thing about this movie I really dug, though. It showed the urban warfare.
See another M47, and there's the 37 Sikorsky. It's such a weird look. It really looks like an insect. It looks like something from the movie Cars. And this is a scene where they're doing their own film within the film.
Yeah.
And the guys are yelling things. Animal Mother yells, he says, "I'll be John Wayne." And Animal Mother's, they ask, "Well, who's going to be the Indians?" He says, "We'll let the VC be the Indians."
Yep.
This is a great moment. There are like several John Wayne references in this film. And this is all because John Wayne was such a figure during the Vietnam War, and he had made that first Vietnam War movie, which is not very good, Green Berets.
It's not very good, but it was he was trying to be
he was
positive.
trying to do for the military what
recruiting
they had done.
Really. Yeah.
What they did for the military in World War II, and it just doesn't work the same.
Didn't work.
And his character, this is the round table spinning camera moment from the 70s show. Where they go around, "Better you than me," Animal Mother says.
Yeah, this shows their different characters because they say goodbye to their two dead comrades.
Yep.
And one of them says, "At least they died for a good cause." And Animal goes like, "What good cause? This is fucking manslaughter." And then it's his turn and says, "Better you than me."
Yeah.
If I'm going to die for something, I want it to be poontang.
Yeah, poontang. My word is poontang.
Yep.
If I'm gonna die for a word.
Yeah, Che, there's no freaking way he would get that. That's why it's so fake and unbelievable. But it's still for dramatic reasons.
This is the soldier interviews they're doing, and Gerry keeps pointing this out. You send these people to the same war, but everybody has a different experience there.
Different experience, different perspective.
This scene shows
guy goes into a firefight.
Yeah.
3 guys go in. 2 of them come out okay. 1 of them's got severe PTSD.
Yep.
You know, it's crazy how that works. There it is in the background. The name underneath the Madgyung there is the girl's name that plays the sniper. That's her name. And this girl, the hooker that's coming up in a moment, that's being brought there by an Arvin soldier.
I think he was a rough puff.
You think he's a rough puff?
Yeah.
What's the difference?
Rough puffs were like National Guard.
Ah, okay. So not regular army. Okay. So I love these scenes, these interviews, and each character, nails it.
His is the best, man.
Yeah,
it really is.
I want to be the first guy, ironically, with the girl he kills.
Right.
Name right next to him.
Mm-hmm.
When he says, "I want to be the first guy on my block to get a confirmed kill."
Right.
And this scene is really funny.
Oh,
it's racist as hell.
Tubuku.
Soul brother,
yeah.
Tubuku.
She's refusing to do 8 balls, and then he just pulls it out and shows her, and she's like, "Okay,
I'm good."
And then as
he starts, he Tubuku.
And then as he's starting to walk off with her, fucking Animal Mother goes, I go first. So, he uses the foul word.
I'll be quick. I'll skip the foreplay.
All N-words must hang.
Yeah.
All
effing N-words must hang. That's it.
Because they're best friends.
Yeah.
Animal Mother and him.
Yeah.
And it's the only time you see Animal Mother get emotional is in the scene coming up where you've got and by the way, that's the one thing that they left in. See that tower in the background? That's actually for the rail system that they had for moving carts, rail carts. And they left them up because they look interesting. But once you realize what they are, you can't take your mind off of it, that those are for miners. That was a mining place. Refinery, I think. It was a refinery for mining and shit like that. So this is really well done. And that's a moment right there that's effed up. All of us were warned about this shit, booby traps.
Yeah.
And that film, I remember being trained, that film popped into my head. Going, oh man, that's what killed that dude. Yeah, he was about to get out on a Section 8. Yeah, he went to the doctor's office for an evaluation and got busted for masturbating in the waiting room. He was like, and Section 8 comes from World War II, which is, it's not a real thing, but it was a phrase that's used for people who are going to get out on a medical discharge for mental problems. And that's the old radio right there. It's not like the one, like my brother was a radio operator. He carried the thing and had the big antenna on it and shit.
Prick 25.
Prick 25. That's
term,
the one.
Section 8 was it was really popularized by MASH because Jamie Forrest.
MASH is actually where it really hit the lexicon, which is why I thought it was weird. Okay, we're coming up to the transitional moment. This is where Kubrick wasn't sure how to move into the final act. And he had to figure it out while they were shooting this. And it was freezing out. And so you will actually see moments where you can see their breath in these scenes. And they're dressed like it's summer. And it's freezing. And it took them a month to shoot this. And the actor here, 8 Ball, he pissed Kubrick off because he asked for more money because of how long they were spending there on the job. And so Kubrick says, I'm going to kill the motherfucker. Said those exact words.
Yeah, and
they
he
didn't
really
know what he
doing
meant.
the scenes.
And so he tortured this guy for almost 3 weeks where he's laying there getting shot with squibs. 3 weeks they shot over and over and over and over this scene.
Ice cold mud.
Freezing weather. And in order to keep their breath, they used an old technique of putting ice in their mouths before talking. But you can still see it. Like there's a close-up side shot. Oh, there's the sniper. And nails 8-Ball. And this is when Animal Mother, you see him finally start to lose it. He wants to go now. He gets antsy. He wants to get out there. That's his best friend, man.
The dog is also losing it because he wants to go in and
yeah, and see, he's got the little cross on his helmet there, showing he's a medic.
Cowboy has just
Cowboy's
been
got
put
the rebel
in charge.
flag sitting there.
Yeah, Cowboy is not ready for command. He really isn't.
No, he's
No,
not.
but he had to take over when the squad leader got killed by the booby trap. He radioed in to report, and he got put in charge because he's the senior there.
Yep, and
he's not
you know,
really-
Roger Ebert doesn't like what happens here. His comments on this, he's so clearly not initiated. He doesn't understand things. What Kubrick did here, so they're stuck here at this scene. This is he couldn't figure out how to get past this, and finally it came to him that we need to do this because there are a lot of endings to this film. There are several endings, and finally this is what led to them moving into what happens, and they made decisions here that changed where they were going with this. And it's so this dude goes up there trying to drag him, the medic, and he gets nailed. Okay, morale has just dropped to 0. Your medic is down.
Yep.
And now Animal Mother is just
Animal
fuck
goes
it. I'm going
against
fuck you
orders.
guys.
What they needed was some law rockets.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Clear some of that shit out. No doubt.
That building.
The problem
if
is
I
they
would have
can't
been
see
there,
the
I would have hit that building
sniper.
with 3 or 4 laws. That
Yep.
would have caused that sniper to back
Move.
off.
Well, back then
So
you
I
had
could see 'em.
Well, they
the
called for tax
experimental-
support.
well, actually it was later. Actually, this is 68. So they had the M48 grenade launcher.
We only have
And
4 minutes left.
M40.
I could have easily. Where are we at on the film? We're almost there. Get going. Get going. Skip us forward. And
Yeah, that scene does take a little while to find the sniper. Yeah.
they get the sniper. They kill her. But she's wounded. She's dying. And she's laying there. And Animal Mother's like, fuck her. Let her die. And she's just a kid. She's a kid. And everybody realizes it. And it leads to one of the most important lines in the book. It really is. This is the equivalent of Mickey Spillane telling a character it was easy when he kills him at the end of the book. Final line. This is his final line, really, as a character. Not narrative, but line. Is when he shoots her, when he finally shoots her and gets his first confirmed kill, Rafterman said, or not Rafterman, one of the other characters, I forget which one, says, "You're hardcore, man.
Yeah.
You're hardcore, Joker. You're hardcore." Which core is spelled CORPS, meaning hard Marine Corps. And it's a moment that, like that moment when you become a man, it's like he's now officially a killer.
Yeah.
And
he was
Animal
gonna
Mother,
do it because
in the
one
book, Animal Mother says, "I'll show you hardcore."
cuts
And
her
he chops
fucking head off.
Yeah.
And that was in the script. And they took
Somebody
it out.
said, "No, man, you ain't hardcore. You're just mean."
You're
One
just
thing we-
mean. That's right.
One
Oh,
thing we
man, I
sped
remember
past.
that. What a great scene.
One
And
thing
so
we sped
he
past.
kills this little girl, and he's got to take that home with him. And that's why this film is more about the soldier and less about the war. This is an anti-war statement. It's because it's clearly anti-war by showing what happens in war. But it really shows what soldiers go through. And it's one of the best war films for that reason.
Should be said, one thing we sped past was his buddy Cowboy got killed by that sniper too.
Yeah,
She's
the
gonna
sniper
die.
kills him, and that's one of the scenes that I was talking about. Roger Ebert criticized while Sisko was like, "No, that's really well done." This is the scene I don't like. I know what he's trying to do here.
Yeah.
This was invented by Kubrick, making the movie to have them sing the Mickey Mouse song, because this is something Europeans wouldn't understand or anybody around the world wouldn't understand, but Americans get, especially that grew up with Mickey Mouse Club. But no Marine would fucking sing that song while walking through Hue City. Wouldn't fucking happen.
No.
So with that, we get this thing. I put this together just for us in the ending of this. Now, we won't get claimed on that one because I checked it, because that is a karaoke version. And I changed the tempo. So I uploaded it on YouTube to check to make sure. But what a great film, man. Don, any last thoughts on this?
Yeah, I do. The whole time that I was watching this, I was thinking of the Siege of Firebase Gloria. You got to understand, one of the most, I don't know how to describe it, that ever happened to me was when we got overrun. And when I watch something like this, that just, I flash.
Because that's what was happening there at the air base. Where the Marines
yeah,
were.
it was, well, you know, if you weren't there, you wouldn't understand.
I get you, Don. I get you. And no, unless you've been in an overrun situation, you don't know what it's like. And your imagination is never as good as what it's like, you know. And you were in that overrun situation, and I couldn't even imagine the intensity of that moment.
Well, all I could tell you is, and it's just, I'm going to get profane, it was simply a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And today's word is motherfucker.
There it is. It's a good place for motherfucker. I say that all the time.
Today's secret word is motherfucker.
Unfortunately, we're out of time.
Are we out of time?
Yep.
All right, guys. I want to thank everybody for being here. Thank you so much. I love doing this show on Mondays. Everybody, peace out. Have a great week. Brian will be here tomorrow with his Scottish, and going to be talking. I'm not sure, but I got to do the banners for him.
You going to his party tonight?
Yes, I will pop in. I can't stay, but I will pop in.
I'll be there.
By the way, Bailey sends her love to everybody.
All right. Well, we love Bailey. Bailey's awesome. She is the official mascot of Pop Culture Minefield. And so with that,
Hey,
Bill.
I thought that was Rocket Kitty.
Nobody likes Rocket Kitty. Only you.
I do.
Fuck you. Fuck you.